Well, the state announced plans to review any COVID-19 vaccines approved by the FDA before they're distributed to the public. And a Stanford doctor is on that new safety review committee. Joining us now is Dr. Dean Winslow with Stanford Health Care. And Dr. Winslow, great to see you. Do we know how those reviews will differ from clinical trials? And do you think the public should have confidence in federally approved vaccines?
Yeah, first of all, again, despite, some of the news recently about, potential politicization of the FDA, I still have great confidence in the scientists and regulators that work at the FDA to really very carefully review the safety and efficacy data from these vaccines. So I am not particularly concerned about the rollout of these vaccines. And I think I probably speak for the majority of my colleagues that none of us have any concern really at all to speak of about the safety of any of the potential vaccines. They may differ somewhat in efficacy, but again, I have actually confidence in the FDA that they're going to review these vaccines very, very carefully and fairly.
And speaking of the rollout and the race for a vaccine, are any of the candidates any closer to regulatory approval?
I'm not really aware of that. The Food and Drug Administration is usually pretty careful about keeping the data close to their chest, and I'm sure that data are still rolling in and that they're looking at this very carefully. But again, part of the FDA's job is to really look at the data in a very objective way. And it's also very important, I think, from a fairness standpoint, that they keep this information confidential until, it's time to release the information and actually grant marketing approval for one or more of these products.
And bringing it back to Stanford, Stanford just launched a new study to get a better idea of the prevalence of COVID-19 in our local communities. Can you give us some takeaways more about this study?
It's actually a very, very interesting study, and it's being done in collaboration with the state. There's also a couple of other epidemiologic studies that Stanford faculty are involved with, including working with Solano and other counties in California to really drill down on the COVID-19 prevalence and incidence in their communities as well. So again, Stanford epidemiologists, I think, are doing a really good job in terms of really helping the state and others really carefully examine the epidemiology of COVID-19 in our state.
And what's one big thing you can share with our viewers about what you've discovered?
Yeah, I think, again, at this point, that a lot of this has already been made public, but that appropriately concern has been raised about the disproportionate effect that COVID-19 has had on Latino people as well as African Americans in our community. And this, I think, in many ways, points out to a lot of the disparities in healthcare that we experience in the United States. So this should really be a wake-up call, and I'm hoping that as we go forward that we really do a better job in terms of addressing these health needs in these communities.
I'm sure that's the hope from a lot of people. Dr. Dean Winslow at Stanford Health Care, thank you for your time.
No, thank you, sir, and thanks for the good job that you're doing getting the message out to the American public.
We appreciate everything you do as well. Thank you for that.